This is another insight I've had recently, over this past year, I'd say. Light and dark practices. Okay, you've got yin yang. Everything in the world can be subdivided multiple times. In fact, forever in this reality. Even the physical body, inside, outside, the yin and yang pair. Up the bottom and the top half, yin yang pair. Constantly, you can just keep going, okay? So, this is what I've had an insight in. I don't suggest everybody do this, but when I had my friend Elisa, when she shared with me my star signs and my gene codes and things like that, I realized, she told me, she said, my nature is to need to get to the bottom of understanding, really understand how things work. It made a lot of sense to me. I understand why somebody would only, and my teacher teaches this, right? Why you would only focus on the light, okay? Because in my teacher's teachings, which make perfect sense to me, don't get me wrong, Shen, Qi and Jing, right, are your three internal treasures. And to protect your internal treasures, you have to protect the three gates. So Shen is the eyes. If you see negativity, you lose your soul. You can lose your soul journey. Qi is what you speak. Okay, so you speak polluted words, you lose your qi. Okay, through your mouth. So this is your eyes, mouth. And this one is your ears. These ears. These are your three gates. So what if you hear negativity, you can lose your jing matter. Okay? So that I get that. I get it. But, so I'm not telling everyone to do what I do. But my nature, as I said, made a lot of sense with the reading I got. I have found that I've understood light teachings more by researching the dark side as well, okay? And I'm going to sum it up for you. In this world, there is a satanic mindset, a practice and mindset, okay? And I'm going to, Mark Passio, who's a satanic priest, he sums it up perfectly, and I'll tell you why it makes so much sense to me. It makes sense because he says the Christian view of devil worshipping and Satan is it's a deflection. It's to keep you away from the truth. Yes, they do some gnarly, terrible satanic practices, but generally speaking, and this is an important point if you ask me, generally speaking, he said what Satanism is at its core is worshipping the ego. As if the ego is God, you are God, okay? You worship the false self, okay? The false self. Now, we believe that we, and I'm talking about the people, we are the 99%. And I don't want to dishearten people here by saying this. And these guys, right, are the 1%. And this is empowering because we would never do these practices, and that's why they have to bring people up into the families and get them to do these terrible practices and abuse them from the second that they're born. So in the first 7 years, they've completely fractured the mind and they can control, okay? Dark side, the principle is they use fear to control. Mind control, what is it? They use terror, fear techniques, okay? So 99% say, I wouldn't do that. Okay, I haven't been brought up in these families. People like Jay Parker also say that this is a bigger figure. This is 10 to 15%. And that's why you see so many people in high-ranking positions in the police, in the law system, and all the rest of it, right? So this number could be much bigger, but this is my concern, okay? Mark Passio said, the typical practitioner of this, and this is how they want it to be, is somebody who is mad, driven by ego. A businessman who only thinks of himself. Okay. Anybody, this is why they push the music industry, the rap industry now has evolved to F everybody else. It's all about me taking money, getting money from me. Me, the false self. See yourself as a separate being who'll just take whatever it takes to get ahead in life. Okay, that we all these kids want to be movie stars. It's ego. Okay. So where I'm going with this is, unfortunately, I would say 99% of the people are practicing this because it's in our school systems. School systems are based off competition. Everything's based off competition. And what happens is we have a majority of people. If you have somebody who's always thinking of themselves, doesn't really, you know, can you help me with this? Oh, fuck, I don't want to help you with that because I've got today I'd rather watch Netflix, okay? He's not aware that he's practicing Satanism, and I'm not talking about. I'm not a Christian talking about it. But this is a real thing, you know. He's not aware of it. It's built into his DNA. It's built into his. Sorry, not his DNA. I wouldn't say that. It's built into his programming. Okay. So then we find we actually only have 1% of the population who's truly practicing the light side. Even in many spiritual communities, you'll see this massive narcissistic, not so much narcissistic behavior. So what is the light side? My teacher, his teacher, they've got an interview, a documentary. The documentary is called An Interview. An Interview with Master Sha and Master Guo. I watch this every 6 months and I get so much from it. But in that, they talk about the term Shulian. Shulian is the totality of the spiritual journey. And Master Guo explains it like this. He says, you serve selflessly. This is selfish. This is selfless. Okay? You serve so selflessly that you forget yourself. This self, the false self. You forget the false self. The ego falls away and you reach a state that the Buddha spoke of called Mingxin. I might spell this wrong. Jianxin. What it means is you enlighten your heart to see your true self. What does that mean? That means, to my understanding and listen to the interview, the false ego drops and you can see who you are and you can see your unique part to play in the whole picture of life. Then you reach enlightenment. Okay? Then you reach enlightenment. This is the complete polar opposite and other end of the rainbow to this. So why am I sharing this? Because an insight that I've got is that me and Fletcher are going to do a podcast on this book. We read a book, Fletcher put me onto a book called A Guided Tour of Hell. We're going to do a podcast on it. Very powerful book. Read this book. This guy was a Buddhist practitioner. He's the guy who founded Shambhala Books, massive book publication. He died twice in his life. When he was 25, he died. He had this beautiful experience, which is a lot of people talk about. He left his body, he was engulfed by light and all the rest of it. Then later on in his life, after years of practicing Buddhism, he died again on the operating theatre. He had a heart attack. And The Buddha of hell takes him to hell to show him around hell before he comes back to life. Now, we can talk about it a bit more in depth in the podcast, so I'm not going to go into it here, but I'm going to just tell you something. There is one fundamental principle that everybody in hell has. Anger. Everyone in hell is so angry. They can't see through ignorance and anger. They can't see why they are where they are, what's going on. They hate everyone around them. He goes to realms where there's suicide bombers. He goes to the realms of people who've committed suicide. He goes to all these different realms. He even goes to the realms where high gods in the jealous god realm have exhausted their karma and they fell to the lowest realms of hell. Okay? Ignorance and anger is a common thing. Okay? Because hell is a mind projection before we die. This is why. If you die angry or traumatic, it's like having a bad nightmare. Okay, you could be asleep for 10 minutes and have a nightmare that seems like it's lasted for hours and hours and hours. Okay, this is a common thing in hell. Peace is the most important thing for when you die. This is why in Buddhism, okay, why do you practice meditation and detaching? Because if you're about to die, you get straight into that state again. You know what? I'm choosing peace. I know where I'm going. I know where. And so when the body leaves, you can detach from the physical world and move in the right direction. My point for this video, why I'm sharing it, is two things. In hell, it's just a more exaggerated version of the earth. That was an insight that I got. If you are angry while you are alive in your life, you are living in hell. The Buddha said one thought takes you to heaven, one thought takes you to hell. There's a story of in the Zen tradition, a Zen master walking in Japan, right? Walking through a village. Samurai warrior sees him. Samurai warrior goes over, samurai warrior for the emperor. He says, Master, he says, is there such a place as heaven and hell? And the little old Zen master says, you're not a samurai for the emperor. You're so ugly. The samurai gets so angry, he starts to draw his sword. The Zen master says, what are you going to do with that sword? But you can't even cut an apple, it'll be blunt. Samurai's warrior's fuming, takes his sword out, goes like this to chop his head off. Zen master puts his head down so he can chop his head off. He says, here open the gates of hell. The Zen master gets the the samurai warrior gets the teaching, puts his sword away, bows down on the floor for the teaching. The Zen master says, here opens the gates of heaven, walks off, leaves him. One thought takes us to heaven, one thought takes us to hell. You could be, your son or daughter could come and give you a cuddle, it's heaven. Oh, so beautiful. You could have news that they fell, hurt themselves, God forbid, even died. You've gone into hell just off that, okay, just off that mindset. So this is why I'm sharing the video. This is how I'm navigating my life right now, right? Is light, dark. If I feel myself going into selfishness, right, or I think, am I practicing Satanism? And if I think, yeah, this is not, I'm not worshipping the devil, but am I being selfish? Okay? Yeah, so I'll change it. I'll change my mindset. I put my attention on may all sentient beings be happy, healthy, and I wish you all the best. I love you. Chant a mantra or whatever. Okay? If I'm doing unnecessary thinking, or I'm doing things that, you know, pain is inevitable. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. So then I think, if something's agitating me, I just think, am I choosing hell? You know, it's my choice at the end of the day. The only person who can, the only thing I can actually truly control is where I put my attention. So these are two things I say. Am I practicing selfishness? Am I practicing a dark practice? I'm going to stop it. I'm going to focus on may all's Wan Ling Rung He, all beings joined together as one. Okay? Am I choosing hell right now? Well, I'm not going to. I'm going to choose not to, because it's our choice. Hope that video makes sense. Maybe you can ask a few questions when you watch this video. I can go different places based on the questions. But just look at it like this. Don't think, if you think we're the 99%, we've got it covered because they're the 1%, the 99% needs to take into account, am I practicing ego, narcissistic, selfish, what can I gain? Will I get more followers by doing this? Will more people like me? I might be able to make more money from this. I'm a blah, 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 blah. Me. Are you motivated by selfishness? Because I'm telling you now, you are practicing what the 1% are. If we all need to take time to reflect, go within and start practicing Shulian, which is pure selflessness, okay? And this is why I'm getting more insights into the Buddha's teaching of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. Do your own research, not going to cover it here. The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, in a nutshell, is a step-by-step path out of hell. My teacher teaches the 10 Das. You can find it on my version of me doing this. 10 Das on SoundCloud. Go to Nicholas Gianassi on SoundCloud. Do every day 10 conditions of the Tao. Tao is the source. Every day you embody one: love, then forgiveness, then compassion, then light, then humility, and go on and on and on like that. This again, this is a pathway out of hell into selflessness and melding. Yu Dao Hurjin, melding with the Tao. I love you all. Take care.